Beloved, come let us play. Yes. I'm walking back home, having taken my beloved dog Marlos for a stroll. And I was like, man, I don't have DnD tonight. I usually do on Tuesday. And I was like, man, this is nice. Like, don't I normally, I was like, I know I used to stream on Mondays and now I stream on Wednesdays. And I was like, Tuesdays are just such a nice day, like in my week, in my schedule. And I'm walking back in the door. It's like 45 minutes, it's like 10:15. And I'm walking back in the door right as the gentleman that landscape the neighbors and our lawns arrived. And I was like, oh shit, that's why I don't stream on Tuesday. Right. But here's the deal, baby boy. We streaming. We out here. So let them come. Let them do what they will. All right, let's recap last sesh. I really do enjoy this campaign so much, man. We've only run 5 sessions, but it's felt like a breath of fresh air to me to be in the land of Athos, to be, yo, Foos. Love you right back, Ledge. Appreciate you coming through. Love a good lurkin' work. Honestly, that's like one of the most weaponized forms of Twitch against capitalism is the lurkin' work. So we here for that. Thank you for that, Foos. Hope you and your crew are vibing in these wild times. Yeah, you know, there's a lot that's going on, like in Los Angeles, in my life, sort of in general, and I really don't want to like get caught up in that. I just want to live in the fantasy realm today. So with that in mind, this campaign, session 5 was last week. We'll be running session 6 in a week. And, you know, Dark Sun is like this fallen world, this low magic setting that, you know, is kind of like Dune meets Mad Max is sort of how I describe it. And the 2 reasons I bring that up are because, one, it really has felt like a breath of fresh air. Like, especially given that we're pretending that the end of the first campaign is what became this second campaign. That as magic sort of sapped from the world, that, you know, with it the expectations of the citizens of this world, of the practitioners, the warriors, the mages, etc., that expectation had to shift because the reality of the world had shifted. Again, no parallels to 2025, people. But yeah, I started the campaign in this city called Caravanity. It's a homebrew conceit of mine. It's like this traveling tinted city that houses, you know, a very kind of mercantile political structure that is headed by this man called the Tradesman. And it's sort of the last bastion of magic goods, of, you know, a reliable source of wares. You know, certain things like wood, metal are increasingly hard to find. But at a steep price, one could potentially find them in Caravanity. They could potentially find rings of power, even metal weapons, perhaps even metal armor. Like these impossible things that used to be commonplace before the Great Loss. And, you know, 2 of the party members are kind of from Caravanity. They kind of grew up there, kind of like street urchin style. And that has led to some kind of early campaign, you know, friction, planned friction, where some of the people that know these 2 characters, one being Finn, a wizard, the other being Elliot, a bard, are kind of calling in favors, or perhaps past relationships are helping out the party, etc. And they went before the Tradesman. They tried to broker a deal. And as part of that deal, the Tradesman, who, by the way, is the shambling man, the Tradesman's like, here's a deal. It's not enough to just bandy magic items back and forth. This one here, and he points at the wizard, this one here,
belongs to me. He owes me, and I'm calling in that debt today.
And basically the tradesman's like, I need you and the rest of these people to keep you alive to go investigate this thing in the Endless Dunes called the Howling Sands. And basically the party is like just south of the Smuggler's Rest, which I don't have in my campaign. I just sort of treated that as like the beginning of Caravanity. And the party is going to travel this way into the Tablelands, into the Endless Dunes. And more or less, you know, how do they have this? In my mind, it was like 140 miles, but let's see. So a square is about 25 miles, basically, roughly. It's a little bit more, 25, 50, 75. Okay, cool. So they're going about 100-ish miles. Not crazy. But depending on what happens, obviously, in these wasteland of sand, it could be a number of things. Could go a number of ways. The party gathered supplies. They got water. They got food. They got materials and components. And they headed off. And there was a little bit of confusion because I had established to one of the members that was from Caravanity, I was like, hey, just so you know, like the things that are being sold are essentially cataloged. And anything that isn't bought or bartered for and that you leave with from the city could potentially set off a version of an alarm spell. And that's exactly what happened as they left. Some of the purse keepers and the Golden Guard were like, wait a minute, stop it, what's going on? Everybody empty your pockets. And the Bard basically cast Friends. And was like, Thristine, you know me. You think I would steal from the great city? And as that minute transpired, they got on a sand skiff and began catching wind away from this tinted city of Caravanity. So they're leaving the Smuggler's Rest, right? Which is basically like here. And they're traveling this way into the Endless Dunes. This is sort of the general area they're going to need to go. And this was something that I was really, I wouldn't say I was torn by, but I was very much, I knew I wanted to do it. I felt motivated to do it. It felt very compelling to me, but I wasn't 100% sure of like the why of it. And I think most dungeon masters know this feeling that I'm about to describe. Some version of, damn, wouldn't that be cool as hell if fill in the blank? If a bunch of trolls were running like a enchanted dirt bike competition out in the woods. Wouldn't that be dope? To see a bunch of trolls jumping through fiery hoops. So you have this idea of something where you're like, oh man, that would be fucking cool to me. It feels fun, it feels compelling. But marrying that to your world, grounding it, justifying the why of it, that is where I believe like the higher levels of execution of gameplay can occur. So 10,000 foot view, the world was ruined, magic fell from it, the natural world slowly unraveled as a consequence of that. And the people now live in this stripped and eroded wasteland. There are some exceptions, there are some pockets that are untouched by this loss, but for the most part, it's pretty fucking bad out there. The world is much harsher, resources are much more guarded and hard to obtain. And a lot of what the good or neutral aligned people of this world want is some return to normalcy. You know, if you're playing in Dark Sun, I feel like the vibe is, man, how the fuck do we get out of Dark Sun? You know, how do I leave this place? And that's one of the major through lines. The other is like the drow at the surface, the fact that they have kind of like, you know, imposed sanctions more or less, like forced military quartering and control of some strategic points, that the drow more or less have like levied heavy terms upon the surface. Oh, there you are. In my mind, I was like, did I not bring my tea? I did, baby boy. Tea matches both my shirt and the background. Serendipity. Ooh, man, I'm crushing it. Or I'm falling off. Impossible to tell when the puns are rolling. But that's the second thing. It's like the drow. They're at the surface. How do we deal with this? And then the third is, I mean, a handful of individual BBEGs that have their own wants and needs. But the third is really this like interaction between the astral plane and the material. That was very much a enormous driver of the plot in Campaign 1. The warring gods. Nothing new in D&D, but in my world it was like these old gods that had kind of been driven out of the pantheon, that were more evil aligned, coming and trying to disrupt the current status quo of the astral plane. So how that all translates to our current campaign, you know, the wasteland, the erosion and negative progress of the natural world is pretty apparent. I mean, that's been hammered home. It's like felt already, even in the city. That is accepted as true. The drow haven't really been seen yet. The only drow that have shown up were actually captives from a group of kind of wasteland elves that came to Caravanity to perhaps barter the drow to the tradesmen. More or less like, hey, you know, we capture these people. You know, if you want to do something with them, we never would, but if you want to do something with them, we yield to the desires of the tradesman. And he more or less was like,
Get your fucking drow flesh out of here. I'm a peddler, not a flesh peddler.
But I wanted to kind of like, you know, showcase the barbarism of the world, showcase the fact that the drow were still kind of like top of the hierarchy, but still there was people that hated them. Like the other elves were warring with them. They captured some. That's like, you know, pretty bleak maneuver to like take a prisoner and capture them and carry them bound. Like that's insane. And so for someone to offer that to the tradesman was almost like, hey, I found this like sorcerer and I captured them. I don't even want to deal with it because it's a whole bag of worms, but if you do, maybe there's power there, maybe there's possibility there that could perhaps be explored. But the party was tasked with going to the Endless Dunes, and locating the Howling Sands. And, you know, I view that as probably being like 2 sessions. Maybe the end of next session, they'll be arriving there. I mean, I don't want to like make any firm plans. Who exactly knows, right? Just make sure. Let me see what I got here. Yeah, we used a lot of this. Cool. Yeah, beware the Ashen Lands. Cool. Okay. Dope. So this is session 6. Great. Golden Caravan. I think traders with Baradon. So what I'm doing right now is just sort of jotting down some of the facts of the other caravan that's traveling with the party. And I started talking about this, but then was slightly derailed by my own fanciful delusions. But at the end of the interaction with the tradesman, the party is sort of like coming to terms with this thing, and they're asking more questions about what they want, what they have to do and how to go about it. And they're sort of trying to pander for magical goods or for more resources. And one individual, the half Goliath druid, he basically was like, are we the first group you've sent? And this sort of stopped the tradesman. And I described him as sort of like, pulling at his beard as his eyes considered this humanoid Goliath. Yeah.
No, not the first. Hopefully the last, but certainly not the only.
And as the party departs, they're now in Caravanity. They're getting ready to leave out into the endless dunes and begin this quest. They're gathering wares, water, food, etc. And I don't remember, like perception check or kind of a general charisma check, but they were wanting to know what was going on in the city. And I loved that because I had planned for, where is it? Do I have it written down here? Well, whatever's going to happen. But I was planning on the fact that the tradesman was also sending, in addition to the party, a group of Golden Guard led by one of the purse keepers, a man by the name of Baradon. Baradon has machinations of his own power, wishes to perhaps overthrow the tradesman, seize the yoke of Caravanity for himself. And I love that they asked me, are we the first people? I was like, nah. And then as they're getting ready, they're rolling perception and persuasion, they're interacting. They see, and I described it as like, multiple different times throughout the journey and the night prior and morning after, groups of Golden Guard, like carrying enormous tents, carrying what looked like sacks of provision. And in the southern market, which is like by the main gate of Caravanity, there was a group of Golden Guards that were sort of like packing up different pallets, presumably to be put on a sand skimmer. And at one point another guard was going, and one of the party kind of tried to stop him, tried to like persuade him, and rolled high enough that he's like, well, what do you need? The party's like, what are you doing? Like, what's with all the Golden Guard? Why are you guys getting out of here? He's like, well, some of the Golden Guard led by Baradon are shoving off. They're going into the endless dunes, chasing some storm, some rolling sand. And they're like, howling sand? He's like, yeah, it's the one. Yeah, that. And this came as a shock to the party, where they're like, oh, why the fuck? He just sent us to the endless dunes. Why are they going too? And this is what I meant by sometimes, like, you have an idea for something, you see the opportunity for a compelling situation, and you don't have all of the why down yet. This is all that I had, was that Baradon was disloyal to the tradesman, that he wanted to perhaps like seize power for himself. Maybe he had been in cahoots with other powerful figures, members of the Sorcerer King's court, members of the Drow court. But that the tradesman basically more just didn't know if he could trust the party. But also, as it was preparing, realized how eager Baradon was to go, and how when selecting members of the Golden Guard, Baradon selected some of the most loyal to him. This set off alarm bells for the tradesman. So he basically has now two parties going that he is somewhat suspicious of, but that he hopes are suspicious of each other. And what the party can discover is that, Baradon is disloyal, that perhaps discovering that or thwarting that or alerting the tradesmen to that could be an enormous benefit to the party. They'll also get to learn a little bit more about some of the NPCs, some of kind of the why of the quests and what had happened at the grandfather tree all those years ago. But I'm hoping that they will be, a little bit caught in the intrigue of who can I trust, who can I not? Who is loyal to Baradon, who is loyal to the tradesman? Can I trust either? can any golden guard or purse keeper be trusted above, using me to their own ends and leaving me in the dunes? Time will tell. Yeah. Great. Okay, so this right here is all kind of extra stuff. Like that's more like floating hooks to be used later kind of thing. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the caravan just a little bit. These are going to be Tennessee from Nashville. And then Russian clipped, female Russian, Russian, my name. So, I might as well like name them, right? And this is where it gets like extremely, like not necessarily too nuanced, but here's the thing. I'm about to make up 4 names for 4 members of this caravan that are loyal to Baradon, that are also traders along with Baradon. And then I have loyal to the tradesmen. We've got Benny and we've got Ration. Technically, there's 2 other NPCs that are also members of the Golden Guard. But like, dude, if the party is meeting every single member of the Golden Guard, let me assure you, I am fucked. If the party takes the time to meet 8 NPCs that are all guards, something has gone wrong. Either I am just simply boring and like failing the session, or the party's gone off the rails and is about to rob, kill, or fuck somebody. Let's call it what it is. So God knows, if I need all 8 names of the Golden Guard, I will be already in trouble. So let's not even bother with it. So let's not even use it, right? Good God. Okay. But I do need some of the members of the disloyal party. That'll be Ulysses, Hector, Vast, and Felden. Okay, great. So there's also the Lady of the Black Rock. And this to me is like a beautiful moment. I threw this in completely spur of the moment. And it didn't like make sense until it was happening. I was like, oh my God, of course she's there. But the party, their first session, they came across a group of children. They're like in Caravanity. They just got inside. They're chopping it up. And basically there's like a group of kids that burst into a tavern. And they're like, somebody like help. Like my brother's he's been hurt. Like he's wounded. Something happened. Like he screamed and fell down. He's bleeding. Please. And most of the denizens are sort of looking over at each other and back to their cups. The party goes over and seeks to help them. And that sort of led to them hearing about one of these kids being attacked, like out of nowhere. It was like this shadow that materialized. That ended up being the dark ichor, which the party did discover and learn quite a bit from, which was great. And is a major through line of the campaign, this dark substance that kind of moved from the astral plane to the material at the moment of the great loss. Almost like radiation after a nuclear attack. It's like this secondary auxiliary effect that is awful and continues to kind of wreak damage long after the moment of disaster. But yeah, they the kid's storyline basically like did get them a lot of information, but instead of healing these kids themselves, and like understandably, they're very wary of not using magic. They go to this area called the Black Rock. They seek out this woman who is kind of like a witch, like an herbalist. They take her inside, and after a ton of back and forth negotiation, she, the Lady of the Black Rock, heals the boy. They then part, and as they're exiting this woman's hut, this same purse keeper, Baradon, "Stop right there. Child, step forward. Let me see your chest." And eventually he's like, "This boy was seen moving half dead through the Black Rock. An enormous gouging from his chest like a bite wound, and yet here it is sealed. Healed, even." And that kind of was meant to put the party on the spot. Like, you can't use magic. You guys weren't seen using magic. You can't be confirmed, but this kid was seen injured. Now 15 minutes later, the wound is healed over. Like, what's up? The party did a great job of kind of not answering. dancing around. And eventually the kids were hauled off by the purse keeper. The youngest of them, this guy Tommy, is actually going to be taken under the wing of the tradesman. He's going to be trained as a monk. He perhaps will come into play later, who knows. But the older two, I think it was Mace and Reagan, were essentially put up for auction. I know that's very, very bleak. But these two young humanoids, 8 and 7, their father slain, themselves suspected perhaps of an auxiliary involvement or direct involvement with a crime of using magic, were sold. And I thought that the party was going to step in, because like I'm cringing at that. Like, that's like a very awful, dark thing. Obviously, like, imprisonment, like, yeah, whatever. But treating people like fucking property, like you would a good, is like chilling and disgusting. It's kind of inherently dark sun in this like fallen, near cannibalistic world. And I don't say this like the party was morally wrong, but they were really just kind of like, I mean, what are we going to do? And, there's a number of things they could have done. I thought they were maybe going to go and try to buy them and then free them. That was sort of my hope. That didn't happen. They kind of just viewed it and left. So with these children and their suspicion now concluded, again, the Lady of the Black Rock is questioned, is found, as she has been historically, to be on the edge of likely guilty, if not wholly guilty, of using magic. So in my mind, the tradesman leveraged the Lady of the Black Rock. Basically was like, I need you to go to the Howling Sands and see what the hell this storm's all about. I want to know what the storm's about. And, the Lady of the Black Rock was once a druid. She had a moment where she had to defile or chose to defile. That has a ripple effect. There's this place called the Evermores that you can't enter if you've defiled, or you can't enter easily, rather. And so this is an opportunity to mirror the fact that like the party is kind of racing another party to go to the Endless Dunes and do the same thing. And to show that much like Finn, this, wizard that was leveraged in Caravanity, much like him, that the Lady of the Black Rock is going to have to make good on some of her obligations. Has a wristband. Came back to me. And whether it'll make any difference with this pack of guards, golden jackals. Golden hyenas. It's quite different indeed. So it wouldn't be. You had any run-ins, Baradon, before that night? It used to be a phone. And Tyr said he left or ran, never looked back. Rare that outsiders rise so high, rise to such heights in the tinted city. Got him. Now, I'm not sure what I find most compelling here, because I'm realizing in this moment, like, really what I had in mind was that the Lady of the Black Rock and her understanding of the stars and astrology would be what was relied on and utilized here, right? Okay, cool. So something like this. To help. God. Stars. And listen to what whispers remain. Nature's voice. They say the moon. The The moon shit. Wait. If so, I am to see it. See it for myself. Okay, cool. So, Lady of the Blackrock's there. There's some good peeps, some loyal peeps, there's some disloyal peeps, such as life. And they're sent to examine the monolith. Tradesman doesn't test in. Cool. Baradon is wary. Got it. Strikes him. They might just be babysitters. One of the non-experienced. Likely Benny. So this will likely be Benny. Yes. Oh, that's what I said. Look at this. I'm so glad I wrote it down. She fell into obligation to the tradesman when the boy, Mace, confessed to her healing his chest. Let's fucking go, dog. Let's fucking go. Because, like, that's what I'm talking about. That's way more compelling than, like, I was suspected. Like, I very much prefer the boy being like, no, she did it. She did it. Comes out to assist Baradon in determining why the howling sands have materialized, what it means. It's my fear. She secretly wishes to see the moon in face. That boy confessed to how his chest got healed. Not that it spared his fate or mine. Okay, cool. This is great. So, attitude towards the party. The Endless Dunes will be what they are. We'll touch that in a second, but the double agent is really the Lady of the Black Rock. Cool. So we'll need to lock in a little bit more, like exactly what the Lady of the Black Rock is going to do there. The Howling Sands will be like a bit of a combat, bit of a puzzle, bit of a skills challenge to see if they can navigate through the actual sandstorm without being, hurt, right? Wind and sand, there's a Mirage of the Scorpion, and then they make it into the Grandfather Tree. At that point, it'll be a good bit of lore, some more potential, like kind of puzzly combat, and hopefully some reward and some leveling up. The Crimson Monolith, which is down here, right? The actual monolith is like this huge spire of red rock, which appears naturally occurring. But the uniformness of its shape and styling is like almost flawlessly geometric. And that, of course, is quite rare in the natural world. So there's this sense of, what the fuck is this? And then what's more is that if you look up at night, like within the shadow of this monolith, the moon is as it once was. It phases, it waxes and wanes, almost as if Saloon's power or ability to touch is felt here. And at the top of the monolith, like at the physical end of it, is the untended gate. Now this is one of my, I fucking love this. And this to me is also wild that it even exists in Dark Sun, because it lines up so much with what I want to do. With the old gods, the war of like the astral plane and the material plane, the dark ichor, kind of this interaction between the pantheon of gods and the physical effects that war has had. Stripping magic, corruption of the dark ichor. But that this untended gate is potentially a place where Darkstep, kind of the astral plane, Han Solo, turtle, Avenger. Darkstep's my fucking guy. Darkstep's gonna be sort of like a real fucking laid back dude. Super laid back. He's extremely laid back. Spent most of his life amongst the stars. when he wasn't catching gnarly ass waves. But Darkstep is a fucking G. Don't make me go full Darkstep. Just trust. He's a G. He is a potential ally, and I guess potential antagonist, depending on how things shake out with the actual party. But I do think they will end up vibing and, interacting quite a bit, which would be cool. But to make it to the Crimson Monolith, days of travel, depending how they roll on the random encounter, who knows how it'll go. But if they make it to the monolith before the Howling Sands, I want the elves there to be like in awe of this natural phenomenon. So let me just jot this down. Crimson Monolith. A vaulting spire of redstone thrusting at a roughly 60-degree angle upward towards a baking sky. Many of the Darkstep elves, isn't that what they're called, right? Let me just see. Yes. They are called that. Let's fucking go. As well they should be. It's a good name. It's a damn good name. They're of course called the Darkstep elves because they're visited by Darkstep. You guys are going to make me dive into fucking Darkstep. No, I can't. Not yet. No. Are gathered already, having erected canopies of thin hide to break up the baking, the searing heat. They sit circled around the monolith, hands linked and eyes closed. They wait and pray. Something the elves have not done. Two things. Oh, this is great. Two things the elves have not done since the fall. Cool. So the monolith is. Now here's what's crazy. I was going to say the monolith is actually fill in the blank, and then I realized that I don't know. And I mean, like I started saying like the monolith is actual physical stone, but now I'm like, is it? I don't know. A lot of what I'm using for my Dark Sun reference, which like the Crimson Monolith, the Untended Gate, those are all Dark Sun, things, part of the canon. But I'm using the 4E book, which is great. And like I love, and it's so fun to go back and kind of repurpose previous generations of D&D. But 4th edition is wild and like pretty complicated, like very crunchy, very rules heavy, which is, to each their own. I enjoy aspects of that. But the adventure guide is extremely heavy on detail and texture and fabric and little bits and little names and little things, but very, very light on the justification and the why of those things. So like the Crimson Monolith, I think is was formerly something from space. You know what I mean? Like, that makes sense to me. Like, I think it probably has to be related to Darkstep. Was this his first ship that crashed here? No. But what would justify... I mean, obviously like a comet, an asteroid, something crashing down. But I don't feel like it's that. I feel like almost the presence of this... if we think about like UFO technology or magnetically driven spacecraft, might it stand to reason that, like two magnets opposed and resisting each other, if they got too close, it might drive or affect the actual world? Maybe this ship coming down and the reverse magnetism it uses to fly pressed down on the stone such that something had to give and this spire shot forward. Regardless, this place of astral and material injunction and interaction is still a rarity in this pocket where the natural world is as it once was. Because even if it's just a narrow pinprick from her prison in the astral plane, from here, Saloon can see the Crimson Monolith, can see this spire. Just going to jot down some of this stuff just so I have it. And again, like the why of things is oftentimes the most fun of D&D in my opinion. But in particular in the adventure guide I'm using, there's just not a lot of like justification. They'll kind of just explain things. You know? Like there's this one area of quicksand that like follows and like bludgeons things, and it's unclear if it is like a sentient monster or a naturally occurring effect in the land of Athos. You know what I mean? So obviously, like, I'm happy to make the call, but it's just interesting to me how little, how much is left for the DM to ground and justify, you know? And honestly, I guess that's fucking common. Like, even in Dragon of Icespire Peak, they're basically like, hey, a dragon showed up. He was driven from his roost to the north. Now, that line, you know, the adventure guy's like, he was driven from his roost in the north. And I'm like, how the fuck would that happen? He's a young dragon. Did an old dragon move him out? Who's the natural enemy of dragons? Is it giants? Did a bunch of fucking frost giants show up and try to batter down this youngish, approachable, killable dragon? And that in turn spawned a campaign. But the crazy thing about needing to justify and fill in the blanks is that, like, it's almost like spaghetti against the wall. Like, it could be anything. And of course I want it to be as, you know, heightened and compelling as possible, whatever. But as long as I just make sure to mark what the fuck is going on, honk! As long as I mark it, that's all that matters. Because I just want to be consistent. I want to be able to build upon the how and the why, right? Because otherwise it's just, it all ends up being spaghetti against the wall and you never have dinner, you know? If you keep throwing spaghetti against the wall, eventually all the spaghetti will be gone and you won't be able to eat dinner, baby boy. So write an idea down, make a lore decision, and stick to it. Yeah. That's the truth. That's what I need it to be. Okay, Saloon can still touch that. I like the idea of the impact of the moon's Oop, what the fuck was that? Sorry about that. I don't know how I hid every single window in a beat, but okay. Cool. The impact of the moon's gravity when Saloon turned her eye here. I'm doing Saloon instead of Darkstep. It feels more chronologically accurate. Called forth the metal-rich stone, thrusting it skyward. Cool. It's dope. At the physical top of the monolith, invisible until either seen with magic or a sharp arcane eye, is the untended gate. Okay, cool. Now, see, this I had down. Potentially these elves could be like, yo, and the elves for me are like, they're all sort of like Cockney, like they've all been sort of driven out from the city, and now they're, you know, out there in the dunes and the sand and whatnot, but would any of you fellas be willing to come and, you know, perhaps for, I don't know, some sort of arrangement? We don't have much, but be willing to help us understand what's going on with that gate, why strange things happen here, why we feel drawn to it. You know? That's a potential hook. But I feel really good about like what's happening at the Crimson Monolith. I think Baradon will want to discover the untended gate. I think that seems to him to be potentially a huge source of power, influence. So then that leaves the Howling Sands, right? I have double agent here. And I'm not sure how to describe this. Like, I don't have any problem at all sharing this on stream, because that's the whole purpose. Hopefully, like, watching people prepping with me, helping punch up my ideas, etc., can help us all get better at what we love and are doing. Yo, Marshmallow! What up, dude? My prince. Bugles. Appreciate the drink. I need this. Oh, I love you right back, dude. I lobe you right back. Brother, my players are fucked. Unbelievable. Are they fighting him? Strahd has cloakers? I'm not familiar with cloakers. Are they fighting Strahd and Ravenloft? And is it like the heart fight? Like, is this down in the crypt? You know what I'm saying? Fuck, dude. It is a gnarly campaign. That all in all, I feel pretty lucky to have survived, mostly. But Strahd's great, dude. How are you, the DM, feeling about your party being fucked? But I have no problem admitting this on stream, which is the fact that the double agent, like, you know, for me, it's enough to be like, the tradesman is sending two groups to the same area to investigate the same thing. And the two groups are kind of naturally suspicious of each other. One of them is kind of high status in the city, the Golden Guard. The other is kind of low status and, you know, unknown. That's the party. But the double agent for me is either the Lady of the Blackrock, which, like, isn't quite a double agent. Like, she's friendly with the party, and now she feels like she's kind of imprisoned, captive. She's been found guilty of magic. So it seems like she's in a vulnerable position. But potentially along or instead of just the Lady of the Blackrock, I like the idea of a member of the Golden Guard either being willing to work with the party or being willing to tell the party that some members are more loyal or less loyal, or potentially share some version of, you know, I bet, ooh, fuck, I'm gonna write this down. Where are you? Right here, cool. Potentially, been seeing eye to eye since the Evermores. Part of me thinks the broker hoped to send Baradon off and never come back. That was before this caravan was manned by golden guards loyal to Beradon. So now they both fucked, I reckon. Okay, cool. But for me, the idea of like a double agent, like I more just know that Beradon wants to kill the tradesman. The tradesman is a little suspicious. Beradon has some members of the caravan that are absolutely loyal to him. And therefore, there's just a lot of room for like these different intentions and these different kind of alliances to influence and allow opportunity. And like for me, that's enough, man. Like I just want to lay out some cool, compelling stuff and then let the party pick, you know? That's ideal. Bro, look them up. And yes, this is the big enchilada. Come on, baby. And they're so close to releasing the big... Oh my god, I forgot about Vecna. Fuck. A big bad daddy V. And I'm happy. Good. Love hearing that. They crafty, and I can't wait to see how they escape. Let's go. The tough times they'll be facing. Man, ain't that the truth? That's such a good feeling when you're like, well, this shit sucks, but can't wait to see you get out of it. Because I know you will. Marsh, that's fucking hilarious, dude. I love that. Well, you know I'm rooting for you. And I'm rooting for the party. And is your plan, I know you've told me a little bit about it, but like, if and when they defeat Strahd and thus release Vecna, is that more of a fade to black, we'll pick up next campaign? You know what I mean? Like, are they nearing the crescendo of the campaign, or will this usher in a new act and the campaign will continue? You know what I'm saying? Either way, dude, congrats on making it that far. Sounds like you've really been executing it. I know Strahd, Curse of Strahd, is like considered like the best campaign, but I feel like it's been described, and it's felt appropriate and well described as the hardest to run. Like, really hard for a novice DM, can be incredible and super elevated and well executed by an experienced DM. And I guess that's many things, but there's so much clout and so much like associated with Strahd that you just deserve a pat on the back, dude. So kudos. Obviously, I hope you TPK the shit out of him. Va, come on! Legend. Legend. It is Tuesday, and yet I'm here. Very beginning of stream, I was like, man, I know I stream on Wednesdays, but like, why don't I ever stream on Tuesdays? And like, as I'm thinking that, I just seen the lawnmen arrive. And like, God bless them. These landscapers are great. But they're like firing everything up. I'm like, oh, right. Right. The leaf blowers on Tuesday. Fuck. But Vok, how are you, man? Sending you love. Man, use the legend round here, bruh. Honestly, I'm so happy you're here. Marshmallow, I mean, everyone that comes through, I love y'all. I appreciate it. I've been trying to figure out what my, like... I know I'm going to do a streamiversary game that's going to be coming up in the coming weeks. But I just don't know what my streaming schedule is going to look like. Like, I'm starting to run a lot of games. And just with life and fatherhood and stuff, it's just fucking hard. But I want you so bad. And, like, I need to figure out, even if it's just monthly... Like, I want to start incorporating more of those one-shots, four-shots. Like, that for me is the most fun. So my point is, Vogue, prepare for some more Cthulhu. Oh, man, I fucking love you. And Lord Carpe, approach. Marsh, hey. Well, sometimes you got to find a module and let it rip. But at the same time, knowing what you want to do is a superpower. So lean in. I had to homebrew the hell out of it for it to be fun for me, the DM. Interesting. So you had to homebrew Strahd very heavily. And is that because you, Marshmallow, didn't find it that compelling? Or it was too much and you needed to distill it? You know what I mean? Something else? Yeah, the leaf blowers have come and gone. The leaf blowers have come and gone. Thank God.
I'm the man up in this piece.
They know who runs this shit. The leaf blowers have, thank the gods, come and then gone. But man, they know how to rip. Like they're ripping. Oh, and God bless them. But yeah, they've done their thing. They've done their thing and they've now gone. Me either. Isn't he such a handsome and fun fella? For real. Yo, give it up for Strahd. Yes, Marshmallow, I know. Because you used to stream? Didn't you tell me that? I feel like you sent me something. I just can't remember what it is. Hey, man. We need Marshmallow to come in as the big bad. You will enter as Cthulhu. Honestly, I cannot think of like a higher praise for me. It's like, dude, I need you to come in and play this abhorrent darkness that constitutes and spreads across space and time. You are Cthulhu.
I'm the man up in this piece.
Oh, I fucking love it. But I'm pumped on this, man. Okay, so the last thing I want to do, like the grandfather tree, I don't think we need to like hash on that too much. That I have here. Boop, 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 boop. Profoundest sense, both marauding and sentient. Thatched roof. Stretching above it. On the inside is a tree. The grandfather tree. Cool. So the grandfather tree has long been something I fucking love. In actual Sword Coast lore, it is the birthplace of centaurs. And it's like beloved by centaurs. They come back and I don't know. I guess mate there. I don't fucking know. Yo, centaurs be doing their thing, baby boy. But that was always cool to me. I was like, grandfather tree is a great name. It's in the middle of the high forest. And obviously, like in my campaign in Dark Sun in Athos, the high forest has now become like this fucking wasteland, right? Like it is the endless dunes, basically. But the grandfather tree, would have been very close to the Crimson Monolith. Would have been like right around there. So I don't feel like I need to do too much for the grandfather tree. That's ready to go. It's going to be an opportunity for them to learn more from Mildred, from the Fae that was, this like sort of old, like, this woman that was, has this ring that she was trying to help. She was trying to do what she could to sort of turn back this awful loss of magic in life. And that will be more like puzzle, a little bit combat, a little bit lore drop. But I do want to go back to the Endless Dunes. And, figure out a little bit, I don't know if I want to call it a random encounter table. Because some of it I think will just happen. But I think it would be wise to have like a random encounter table of some degree. Something like that. Dude, I love that. Yes, it wasn't compelling for me, and I love to homebrew too much. And I don't like how railroading it is to run. Interesting. I was just a player in it. The only thing that felt railroady and like out of necessity is the very beginning. It's kind of, and then I was just talking to Brian about it, and I was like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. Like, it's really hard unless the party is from Barovia. What the fuck are y'all doing there? Like, how did you get through the mist? Now, a lot of times it's like you could wake up that way. You could be kidnapped by Vistani. You could kind of lose your way in the woods type of thing. All valid. But I can get that it could be, well, regardless. Like, if it ain't fun for you, then it's not going to be fun for the table. So do it. He's going to sound like an old Jewish deli owner. I love it. Is this the potential Cthulhu character or Vecna? Here's the thing. I am the power of the mage and of the star. And if you look into my eye, you will be no more. It's kind of skewing walk in there. That was for insomnia. I'm fighting laryngitis right now, and my throat is so sore. Fuck, man. I hate that. Sorry to hear that, dude. Hydrate, vitamin C. Obviously, you might need some antibiotics. Get that shit in there. I'll tell you what's been really, really nice for me in terms of like ear, nose, throat. I have been mouth taping while sleeping for the past, I don't even know, 2.5, 3 months. And dude, you don't need like some whole big thing. I literally get a little bit of like fabric medical tape, just a little 1 by 1 inch square, and just put it right here, boop, on my lips. And dude, I used to wake up so dehydrated. I swear to God, like I would wake up in the morning and be like, ugh, 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 ugh. But I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, ah, ah. I mean, I would drink 30, 40 ounces in between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m., let's say. Too much. But it really helps you breathe through your nostrils. And I mean, it's kind of how humans were designed to sleep. But man, I couldn't believe how much it helped my throat. Obviously, like laryngitis is its own thing. But for what it's worth, maybe look into that. Maybe do a little bit of reading on that. Who knows? Dude, I'm so glad you're playing in person. That's very fun too. So I'm AC 13. Or is it actually AC 130? Shout out. You should ask Foos. We got the random encounter table of happy things and ultra bad things. Cthulhu. Okay, cool. That is awesome. Dude, of course, Marshmallow. I mean, it's just tough when we don't feel good. Yeah, I love the idea of using a Foos and Knitters table. I don't know if it's Knitters. Doesn't matter. Regardless. The table of very good things. So I think the first day I will just let kind of be a day, right? And yeah, so the endless sand dunes. Encounter. Endless tunes. That's so Freudian. The endless tunes, bro. Honestly, sign me the fuck up. Rando tableau. Okay. I misspelled tableau. Okay, so I'm not going to go. I'm going to do 1, 2 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 8, 13 to 17. These are some big swaths. 18 to 19. Okay. We'll do this. All right, everybody relax. And then we'll do 20. So again, like some of the stuff I already have, like I don't need it to be this crazy thing. The first day, they're going to be kind of like orienting themselves to how to steer, the sand skiff. Yo, Pancake! What's up, Ledge? Pancake, you're a real one, dog. Pancake and I just wrapped up a campaign. War of the Stargazers, baby. It's the shit I'm talking about. Good seeing you, though, Ledge. Get in here. Bro, come on. Absolute Ledge. Pancake, you said you used to stream, did you not? I believe you told me that. I need to pick that brain. I won't go into detail, but Pancake Bone and I also witnessed... When was that? I guess that's 2 weeks ago today, huh? Again, no doxing, no outing here. But dude, Pancake, I think you know what I'm about to say. We witnessed one of the craziest things I have ever experienced in a Zoom digital game, of which I have run literally hundreds of sessions. I feel like I could count on almost no hands, the amount of issues I've had You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll mess stuff up or somebody doesn't like the result or I forgot to explain something well enough. Like that shit happens all the time. But I'm going too into detail about this. How do I say this? There was a moment 2 weeks ago where not everybody on the stream was wearing a shirt, and it was unclear if everybody on the stream was wearing pants. Or pants? Yes, Pancake, yes, or pants, damn it. Damn it! Oh my God. I mean, bruh, it is just so out of control. Anyway, point is, Pancake, you're my dog. Appreciate you coming through. Secondary streamer with our mutual friend. Okay. I will live in my mind in the annals of Zoom and D&D for the rest of my days. Oh, God bless. I can't wait to see if my players use the deck of many things I gave them at level 2. Holy shit. With Papa Vampy. So, dude, you're telling me, Marshmallow, that they have a full deck of many things in their possession. I guess that's actually like kind of often how it happens, right? Is like the party will discover the deck. I mean, who knows? I've never had the deck really go that bad, which is stunning because I think I've had 7 or 8 cards drawn from it and they've all been good. Even the NPCs that I've had draw them, they've all been good. Anyway, yeah, let's see what they do. Let's see what they make of it. Oh my God. Dude, Pancake, hey man. Amen. Amen. Many a production intern knows that well, right? We were forged together by a desperate need to survive and not be traumatized. I give it to them every time within 3 sessions, and it usually is not good for them. You're like, I keep doing it. I can't stop. The Dust King appears on the dunes. Dude, this is hilarious. I cannot believe I'm doing this. This is great, though. A dark, robed figure riding a thin horse. He's flanked by infantry wearing mismatched fittings and trappings. Okay. Dark figure riding a thin horse. Now, I'm obviously not going to make them fight the Dust King. Sometimes I think it's cool on like the worst roll on an encounter table, like a nat 1 type thing. It's not like, oh, the dragon flies down and now you got to fight him. I mean, sometimes it's very bad. But I like sometimes just showing them a horror. In this case, it'll be like, oh shit, there's like a rider across the dunes. Like, is he friend or foe? What the fuck's going on? And maybe members of the Golden Guard will like ride off to... Oh shit, I need to write that down. We'll ride off to like engage them. Be like, hey man, don't fucking ride up on us like that. And they'll just get rushed by zombies. The Dust King is a lich. He has an undead army. They kind of wander the southern dunes. So on a nat 1, I want them to just see that. Right? Have a number of mounts. Those craggly bird things. I can't remember the name of them. I'll have to change that. But sometimes on a nat 1, it's good to just show them the worst thing ever. You know what I mean? Ask either Foos or Ninners for ultra bad things for the table. They're both battling for the darkest campaign. Oh my god, I love it. Don't I know it? Vogue, that's so funny. I feel like I'm duty bound just because I love like messing with them. I'm always like, Ninners, you run the darkest campaign, dude. But the reality is, it's Foos. Because Foos, and maybe it's because of, like, they both are such great DMs. Like, I love their styles. But, like, they go about it in a slightly different way, right? And sometimes, like, the descriptions that go on from Foos, I'm like, okay, dude. It's dark as hell. But maybe I should reach out and be like, yo, could I just see them? Because maybe I'll take the ultra good and the ultra bad, toss in a smattering into this, sand encounter table. They always be pulling Void or the Devil card a lot. Man, one of those morons always gets the Void card or the Devil's card in the first 5 draws. My God. Foos has the highest body count. That's hysterical. Yeah, man. The girl's got blood on her hands. Blood on her hands. We've all seen it. So members of the Golden Guard will rush the caravan, the ridge line, the dune line, be descended and swallowed up by the undead horde. Okay, that's pretty fucking metal. I don't mind that. Oh my God, excuse me guys. Sociological sunburn 2 OBT. You are getting banned, bro. You have been banned. You cut. You got cut. Ninja's had this one moment where he puppeted. Oh shoot, one message was deleted by a moderator. Oh shit. I think that was me that deleted it. My bad. Well, whoever's message I deleted, I'm really sorry. It probably held it because it said like idiot. And it's like, do you want to allow this? And then I deleted it. And now I guess you can't say idiot. Fuck, I'm an idiot. Anyway, my bad. Had this one moment where he puppeted Foos' character's friend. Oh my God. Dude, it's really one of the worst feelings when your character is like possessed. Certainly an NPC is very bad as well. But watching a character that you love or care about be like under the throes or control of some dark power, that shit sucks. They have 6 minor devils out to get them at this very moment. Ay, ay, ay. Marshmallow, that sounds like a good opportunity for the other shoe to come thundering down. Oh, did I? Okay, Vog, thank you. Then I have no regrets. Sociological sunburn, you've been chopped, bro. You've been erased.
I'm the man up in this piece.
You've been erased. Fuck. The power coursing through my veins as I ban a bot. Foos' character's friend who was dead at the time. My God. My God. Okay, appreciate y'all updating me to the reality of the message board. I don't know what the fuck's up. 3 of the minor devils are on 1 player. I mean, fuck Vecna. Let them just fight the hells, bro. Sounds like they're coming. Okay, 2 to 4. I think they're going to be forced to hide from a cloud of rays. You know what? I'm going to put this here. I'm going to keep that there because I don't mind at all just like putting it there. This will be a skills challenge. 4 successes before 4 failures. Beginning at DC 13. To escape the 1 cloud ray that peels off and investigates the direction of the caravans. Okay, cool. So that'll be cool. Again, like, the party's level 2. So I don't want them to, like, have to fight, like, a bunch of zombies, you know? Like, they will get whopped. At the same time, I think it's good storytelling. I think it's good DMing to kind of show your hand a little bit and be like, hey, like, you might have to fight this, or like, hey, you might have to deal with this. To me, that happens a lot. If you have a bad guy show up, fight the party, and then escape, I mean, sometimes that means that the party beat the shit out of him, so they're probably not worried about him. But sometimes it means that the person that got away could now be plotting against them, could sort of have, some sort of trap laid for them. And that to me is the beauty of foreshadowing combat, foreshadowing a situation, an issue that your party might deal with. And that's what this is. Like, cloud rays are out there. They're fucking dangerous. Watch your ass, you know? Cool. So that'll be a skills challenge. 5 to 8. Oh, wow. Oh, Crodlu. That's what those are. Fuck yes. Okay, great. So on a natural 20, they'll find the fucking lost temple of the storm. Maybe. Also, as far as an evil entity controlling a player early in the campaign, Marshmallow, I love it. You're like, if we're on the subject of an evil entity controlling a player early in a campaign, I'd like to chime in. One of my players failed to check and is not a meat puppet for Strahd. Is that maybe is now a meat puppet for Strahd? That is hilarious. Yeah, dude. I mean, I've been charmed by Strahd multiple times. Shit sucks. And, okay, cool. And I've also been possessed by a ghost. And, like, I mean, it was very fun. Like, it was a great encounter, all that shit. But I hated it. You know what I mean? Like, I hate it. Yeah, I do love that. So is that like the 24-hour charm? Or do you mean right now in combat, or the combat that's about to happen, this player has been like dominated? I'm curious. Love a good dominate. Okay, 5 to 8 will be a den of antlions. Yes. Roll a d4. D100. 1 to 30. 31 to 100. No, 31 to... Oop, my bad. 31 to 99. Then 100. Wow. So very low statistical odds of them rolling 100 after rolling a 9 and 12, but it'll probably happen. Now that I've put it down as like a 0.4% chance, it's undoubtedly going to go down. No, it's a latent curse. Then he can activate once and have complete control. Wow. If they roll 100, Cthulhu pops up. Exactly. If they roll 100, then I radio Marshmallow. And he appears as Cthulhu in-game. Honestly, like, before I die, I think my final moment on this earth will likely be me playing a D&D game, and just as the dust settles and the BBEG's body is growing cold, the dark shadow and specter of Cthulhu will descend to destroy us all. God save the king, Cthulhu. Okay, so roll 9 to 12. 1 to 30, and I'm doing Cthulhu rules, so like low rolls are better. This will be... You see a flock of birds, and I'll be like, note to self, find Dark Sun equivalent. Because, I mean, I forget, like, I've got this great compendium, like, kind of monster guide for Dark Sun. That's where I got the Crodlus, and they have a ton of cool shit. But, you know, in the canon of Dark Sun, in the world of Athos, there are no sheep or cows or horses. Like, you're thousands and thousands of years removed from the world of Faerun and the Sword Coast. In my campaign, you're like 200 years removed. You know what I'm saying? So for that reason, like, there are still horses, there are still cows, but I think it's fun to find like adapted equivalents, like these little ostrich Crodlu thingamabobs, you know? He's going to be wearing a banana hammock and have a daiquiri. Pancake, how dare you? How fucking dare you, dude? Thank you. Thank you. How dare you? Honestly, I don't regret it. I've never said anything on stream I regret, ever. Neither is Marshmallow. He's going to be wearing a banana hammock and have a daiquiri. Cthulhu on vacay. Well, that truly is the darkest of horrors. It's like, where are you? He's like, I'm in the Bahamas. I put the deep void on hold for a quick second to soak up some rays. And now it's really on. Honestly, to like drown in Cthulhu's daiquiri, of all the ways one could die in Cthulhu's hand, that ain't the worst. That ain't the worst, baby boy. That's hilarious, dude. I love that. Okay, well, nobody click on that Twitch clip. Nobody check that out. I will vet it after the fact. See a flock of birds. Have the potential to shoot some down for dinner. 31 to 99. What would this be? What would come out of the sands? I think you could see Elven Raiders begin tracking the party. Cool. That's cool. I also fucking love it whenever there's a random encounter table, the party knows that whatever they roll will like immediately affect things, you know, etc. And then the party rolls, and then they roll again, and then I describe how nothing happens. That's like the worst. It's both the worst and the best. Yo, Gervanch, baby boy. I know, dude. All I've got left is this little scar right here. Now, you guys can't see it. It does have like a hard ridge to it. Like some sort of Klingon. But I'm here. They tell me I'm not brain damaged. I don't know. I'm still tutoring kids in SAT and ACT, so I fucking hope not. Oh, dude, I skipped my first session that week after I got, knocked. But then that next week, Pancake, we had D&D on Tuesday, which was super fun. This is now like a month ago. But then that next Wednesday was the first day I had tutored, and it was like a week and a half after the fact. Or something like that. And dude, it was so hard. I felt so like foggy. And not that I had trouble doing the problems or doing the grammar or whatever, but sometimes the most challenging part of tutoring is effectively explaining it. Because I'll explain it and then they still don't get it, and I'll kind of rephrase it for them, and usually that works, but if not, we have to try another tact. And that's hard enough as it is. But whenever I'm just like rattled, I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, that's just the rule of semicolons. Fuck, my head hurts, Oh my God. The boy's a nerd. Yo, Gervanch, I fucking love you, dude. Bugles up. Appropriately showing up as I'm preparing the endless dunes. As the Prince of the Sands. Gervanch, how we living, dude? Talk to me. Pancake, I don't trust you. No, I don't believe you, but I do trust you. All right? Know that. Man, good to see you too, Pancake. Appreciate you, big dog, for real. Can't wait either. It's going to be a blast. We're running Cold Box Hold, essentially Dragon of Icespar Peak. One of my favorite campaigns, period. Man, I thought you was shooting Mission Impossible. God bless. I wish I was. I wish I was. Man, I wish I was. At the same time, like, have you guys seen the new Mission Impossible? Like, it's so whatever. You know what I mean? And I echo Vogley. I want to know how the fuck you are. Talk to me, baby boy. Okay, 13 to 16. Find a grove of cacti in flower. Are able to refill their water skins. A successful skills check. Survival, athletics, or what would it be? Or Or survival, athletics, arcana. We'll do arcana. Fuck it. The blooming fruits heal for 1d4. Cool. That I love. Okay, 1719, guys. What do we think this is? You know? No way. Dude. Dude, good question, Vogue. I've got a month left till I move to Melbourne. Dude, what's up with the foreplay crew? Are you guys recording? What's the deal? Because I know you guys record it remotely anyways. But dude, I didn't know you were moving to Melbourne, man. That is so massive. Like, I'm pumped for you. God bless, Godspeed, safe travels, sending you all the mojo. Do you have any connections there, any infrastructure there? I don't mean like professionally or whatever. I just want to mean like, do you have friends? Do you have family? Do you know people in Melbourne? I love you. Pumped for you, dude. I saw the last one. I haven't seen the newest one that comes out. I love all the Mission Impossibles. Dude, I love them too. I think the one before this last one, like part 1 of whatever it was, Dead Reckoning, I did not think it was that great. I thought it was a little too expositional and like, I mean, I get that they're kind of like, look, you guys know what the deal is. You guys get it. They're here. They're talking about the mission. But like the beauty of Mission Impossible is like the ride it takes you on, the twists and turns of like, are they an agent? Oh shit, they are? They're not? What happened? And some of them are so good. Like they've made 8 or 9 of them, and like I'd say 75% of them I really enjoy. But the one before the last one I didn't like, and I haven't seen the latest one. So if you have, let me know. Man, I need to figure something out. I literally have written down planned streamiversary. And I shall. Man, I appreciate that. Guys, you know I love a little chat love. A little hesitant. I've never lived outside of India before. Traveled a lot, though. Forecast is all in different countries now. Forecast is all in different countries. Forecast, my bad. I'll be in Australia. Ratio is in California. No, he's not. Where is Ratio? Dude, good for him, man. Badass. You know I've been asked a lot if I have a contact, Lamass. I don't. God bless. But I'm actually moving to be a contact, you know? So people are like, oh yeah, Gervanch can take care in Melbourne. Dude, I feel that to the moon. Hit me up on Discord. We'll rap about it. I do have some people I know in Sydney. Melbourne, I think, is like across the continent. But regardless, like life is life. People are people. Like reaching out within networks that you already know and trust. Religious, interest, sports, kicking the soccer ball around. You know, great way to kind of organically connect. And we got to have that. I mean, in the digital world more than ever, but especially whenever we move to a new location. So we love you, G. We're here for you. And agreed, dude. You're going to start a whole wave of people moving to Melbourne. Let's fucking go. There's always culture shock, agreed. But then we learn how to blend in with the culture. Oh, dude, you're going to crush it. You're absolutely going to crush it. He's working in an Indian restaurant in California. Dude, do you know where? Is he in NoCal? SoCal? YoCal? I would love to haul out Ratio. I mean, both Ratio and Phoenix are fucking G's. I really enjoy those guys. Okay, 17 to 19. I think roll a D100. I like doing that because we never really do it, right? 01. So it'd be, you know what? 01 to 05. 06 to 50. 51 to 98. And then 99. I am absolutely loving this. So we will never use all of these. What I have highlighted, mark my words, we will not use this. I promise. They have a 15% chance and then varying 5 to 45 degree chances. It ain't gonna happen. But it gives me joy to create this. And therefore, we gotta fucking create it. All right? Not that complicated. Not that complicated. Dude, connect me, man. Please, please, please. I'm so happy to see everyone here. Always the best community. Man, appreciate all you guys, dude. Appreciate all you guys so much for like making it a community, you know? Sometimes I'm like, am I like, it feels weird to me because I feel like we're all such like contemporaries and like friends and associates that everything is so centered through like my life and like when I'm streaming or whatever, you know, and like, and I just, you know, I mean, just deeply appreciate you guys being a part of that, supporting that truly, but just want you to know that like, I want to know how the fuck you guys are doing. You know, I'm rooting for you. I'm grateful for you. Like, I believe in your success. And so keep us updated right here in the Discord and in the chat. But truly, I love you guys, man. So do you have a date? When's that happening? Is it like kind of a little fluid, or is there like, I have the flight? Man, I've lived abroad, some different places, and then obviously I've been in California for 13, 14 years. I leave on the 9th. God bless. So you got a month. July 9th. God bless, man. Vicaria. She wears a robe of stars, faded stars. Carries few provisions. Few visible provisions. Faye, do you have need of mending? I fucking love that. That's wild if that happens. Group of doom singers. Yes, 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 yes. This is such a fun table. Thank God. Chanting and shuffling in time, robed in, draped in thick black robes despite the heat. Ugh. Sounds awful. The blessing of the risen. Cool. I love it. Oh, interesting. I'm going to look that up right now. I lived in Paris for, you know, about a year and a half, 17, 18 months. Some of the best times of my life. 2008, and then came back for a little bit, and then was there for pretty much 2009 through 2010. I came back. I came back the very end of 2010 to come back to Houston. I was in the Houston Shakespeare Festival, Shakespeare in the Park, and then loaded up a car I just purchased. A 2002 Honda Civic Si. I'd never driven a stick shift before. I learned on the drive to California. Holy shit. It was crazy. Crazy, crazy situation. Okay. So I think that what am I looking up? Cloaker. Cool. 14 DnD. Oh, wow. This is very similar to a Cloud Ray. I fucking love it. Oh, cool. This is very dope. Large aberration. Deep speech. Cool. While attached to a creature, the cloaker takes only half the damage dealt to it. And that creature takes the other half. Eee! Very fucking cool. This is fucking cool. I love it. Look at this dude. That dude is vibing. My guy's vibing. If I had to describe Marshmallow's Cthulhu campaign in a non-Vecna, non-strawed image, it'd be this. Hey, come on, baby! Marshmallow, I appreciate that. I'm totally going to port some of that over to the Cloud Ray. Yeah, I mean, a little bit less than 2 years, but it was awesome, man. I was a tour guide. I was a bike tour guide. I worked for a company called Fat Tire Bike Tours. And some of the best days of my life, man. Did improv there. Went over to Prague and did the Prague Shakespeare Festival in 2010. I was actually thinking about that this morning because I understudied Romeo. And I mean, I could tell stories all day about that shit, but I was just thinking today how much, like, what a beautiful character Mercutio is, and how I feel like my like vibe and like age are kind of moving me further away from Romeo and closer. I mean, honestly, to like Tybalt is what I always get cast as, but to Mercutio as well. I love Mercutio. Tybalt, you rat catcher, will you walk? Like, Mercutio always seems like he's like drunk or just like, I don't know, like just like got laid. You know what I mean? He's always just like not giving a shit. Okay, I've heard French people aren't comfortable with English and Paris is a very dirty place. Oh, dude, no, Paris is clean as shit. I mean, you know, I haven't been there since 2018. I was there 2017, 2018 for like a couple weeks, travel, visit. But whenever I was there, I mean, at least like 2010, 2011, like, no, man, like I was stunned. I mean, it was an unbelievable, I mean, yeah, extremely, extremely clean and well organized. I mean, pharmacies, medicine's cheap. I couldn't believe how well I ate. Like, every man and woman is like a model. You're kind of like, what is going on with all these people? I will say, I mean, no doubt that like, I mean, here's the other thing, dude, is like my vibe and energy, I think can come across as very like bro douche. The American abroad already skews that way for unfortunately well-deserved reasons. But I only bring it up because there was a couple times where like, dude, I remember I'd been in town for like 2 days, 3 days. I'd hitched a ride on a bicycle with another tour guide who I didn't know. I'd known him like 2 days, 3 days. Because he basically was like, yo, you're coming with me and we're going to go check this out and blah, 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 blah. We go to some like bar downtown. We like have some drinks. I'm like getting wrecked by jet lag. I'm like so fucked. And he straight up like meets some girls. I can't remember what was happening. Like there might have been 2 girls. Like it might have been a like, hey, like we should go hang out with these girls. But I had a girlfriend at the time. I know that. Regardless, he left with a girl on the back of his bike, which is where I had been riding, like on the back of his bike. So now I'm like, I've been replaced. I mean, I'm not that pissed. I kind of get it, but I'm also like, it's dawning on me that it's 2, 3 a.m. somewhere in the southwest part of the right bank. And, excuse me, the left bank rather. And it's like, I guess it was the southeast corner of the left bank. But I'm like, where the fuck am I? And I'm like trying to walk back. I'm like using a map. But at some point in time, these French guys rolled up. And again, it's like, let's say it's 3 a.m. And they basically just started giving me so much shit. Because I was just like, parlez-vous anglais? And they just started like ripping at me in French. One of the guys kind of was just more like joking. And then his friend kept going super hard. And his friend, like one of the French guys was very nice. And basically was like, you follow to the river and then you go to the left and you will get back. And he was right. And I walked for like 3 hours and that shit sucked. There was another time a guy gave me, frankly, just the wrong directions. He like sent me the wrong way. But all that to say, man, the French are great people. They're awesome. They've got a ton of culture. They've got a ton of history. Texas is bigger than France in terms of land mass. But the amount of people that come through Paris alone exceeds the population of most of the major cities in Texas. My point being that like the world views Paris as this like jewel. So they have to deal with like tourism, so much shit, you know. But no, by and large, I fuck with the French. You know what I'm saying? Dude, you'd love it. It's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Hey, Vogue, I love it. Hey. Okay, Cloaker is rad. Thank you, Marshmallow. The Cloaker is in. This will be the Doom Singers. The other was going to be the Doom Singers and the... This will be... Grants Heroic Inspiration. And +1 to any skill. Any skill you're not already proficient in. Cool. Okay, actually I think this one probably needs to be here. It's like such a boon. That Mirage will need to be figured out a little bit. Okay, exactly. Vogue, bless you. I was wondering the same thing. Exactly. The Blessing of the Risen will be like, basically like, I think it'll be, what will it be? It will be +2 to either intelligence, charisma, or wisdom until that character drops to 0 hit points. I don't know why I love that as a mechanic. Then Scaravon will rise, leaving the fallen and costing them a death save. That's too much. Okay, falling and leaving the fallen and forcing their next death save to be at disadvantage. If they're healed, then all good, nothing happens. Cool. I like that. I mean, it feels a little wrong to have like, you know, something and then they kind of get burned for it, but I had this a little bit earlier that I thought was really lovely. This acolyte of the Lady in White. And there's this new god, Alab, which is just Bala backwards, right? But they wear white and they're sort of like altruists. But what they really want is like antinatalism, death, you know, the giving and yielding of all that is to this new god, you know? That's the time for me. Oh, dude, I love you. We're going to have a difference of 15 hours? Man. Gervanch, I'll do my best, dude. I'll do my best. Please message me, bro. I want to know how you're doing. Would love to just chat with you about that move. It's going to be rad. Have a great one, dude. We have one more, and then we'll be zipping out. Group of Doom Singers. What will this be? A Mirage? What do we think here, gang? What do I have in the Endless Dunes? Cloud Rays. I think it should be something good, something to get as a result. Maybe like... A large stand of boulders within which grow ferns. Fairies dance here. A portal to the Fae? This seems very fucking cool to me. That's cool. And again, I'm mostly marking things like yellow is just, please don't forget, do it. Red is some connection to either the evil gods or the hells. And then the purple stuff is like typically connected to the astral plane, the moon. I mean, it could also be tied to the old gods, but it's more like rooted upward in the heavens. Okay. I'm loving it, guys. Crushed. So, here's the deal. Gervanch, I love you, buddy. Let it rip. Let it slip. I like to end all of my D&D streams by rating somebody else that's doing prep. It's the best feeling in the world, dude. You're sitting there, kicking it with your friends, typing up some madness, and all of a sudden, come a bunch of beautiful people just popping into your chat, doing God knows what. And I love that. How about... Yes! Here we go. Kaz the DM just started D&D prep and world building of Volcanic City. Let's fucking go. A Volcanic City? Okay, that's the deal. That's the deal. Guys, everybody. I love y'all so much. Gervanch, Fog, Marshmallow. I'm missing somebody. Fog, Marshmallow. Foos. Yes. Ugh. Just appreciate you guys so much coming through. Even like uplifting and sending off Gervanch with a nice vibe. Like, how beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, what a lucky, lucky thing for us to have that and be able to give that and receive that. I've been feeling super emotional and honestly, like, kind of weird, like, post, concussion knockout thing. But I'm well on my way. And I just wanted to say that, like, I just have so much love and appreciation for you guys, for being part of my circle, for uplifting me online, offline, in Discord, like whatever. So just thank you guys. Okay, let's say what up to our boy Kaz. We're going to rate him. As always, take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week. Peace. We gone. We Gucci.